Hi everybody, it's David from Doctors of Running, and today we have a fun shoe. We have the Adidas Adios 7. Now the Adios 7 is in the performance trainer line side of things. You could probably dabble with it as a racing shoe as well. Traditionally the Adios line used to be the racing model before the Adios Pro came out. Now the Adios 7 does have a dual density midsole. We're taking a look at light strike through the heel, pretty much full length with a embedding of Light Strike Pro from the midfoot through the forefoot as well. So it gives it a little bit of extra bounce as you transition into the forefoot. The Adios also uses the torsion system that we've seen in previous models as well. So the shoe is non-plated, but it does have that plastic shank that does extend from the heel through the midfoot and ultimately like a prong in the forefoot. You have really grippy traction on this shoe on the continental outsole, basically on the lateral heel and the medial forefoot. Really just where you land, transition, and then grip off of that great toe and push forward. The shoe on the upper side of things, it does run a little bit on the long side and a little bit on the narrow side. That's pretty traditional for Adidas for me. That's a fit that I've really kind of trying to figure out if I like it or not. I think you could argue going half a size down. It still fits true to size for me as long as I just lock it down a little bit more and tighten it down. The transitions on the shoe when you're running on road, this is a shoe that I like to turn over in. It doesn't feel quite as good going slow. If I'm on dirt or grass on a softer surface, I think the transition gets eased a little bit, but there's a lot of rigidity. It's a pretty firm riding shoe, so the EVA Light Strike midsole on the heel here, there's a slight lateral bevel, but it's still a pretty flat geometry compared to a lot of other shoes. That torsion system gets a little bit slappy at slower paces for me on the road. So when I'm running on dirt or grass, that seems to be eased a little bit. When I'm running a little bit faster, that's when things start to change. Your transitions get a little bit quicker. You start popping off of that forefoot a little bit harder. So the responsiveness really comes alive in this shoe. And I've been able to run pretty darn fast in this shoe and have no problems. So for me, it's definitely a performance trainer, something that I would like to do a lot of workouts in. I still haven't taken it to the track. I think it would do all right. Just a little bit of a firmer riding shoe, does well on soft surfaces. I feel stable enough in turns and things like that. I think it'll do fine. But this is definitely a shoe I would like to work out in, not necessarily do daily runs in. I notice if I have to warm up and cool down in it, that should be fine. 2 to 3 miles workout, 2 to 3 miles cool down, that should be just fine. So ultimately the Adios 7 is a good workout shoe, and I'll be doing some comparisons with some other shoes in the future. But we have a firmer heel, torsion system through here, a little bit more of a narrow platform. Everything on this shoe is built a little bit more for speed. Light Strike Pro in the forefoot, very bouncy, very responsive forefoot when you load it. Definitely rigid, but it does have a tiny bit of flexibility and a little bit comes alive when you load it. So that's the Adidas Adios 7.